Did somebody say Thor? In the halls of Asgard, legends are born. Among them rises the god of thunder, Thor Odinson, wielder of Mjolnir, warrior of realms and protector of Midgard. His story is one of pride, loss, redemption, and power, forged in battles that echo across the 9 realms and beyond. THO, Art Winnie 11, The Fall and Rise. Once upon a time in a realm far, far away, there was a very attractive man who liked to smash things. He was the kind of guy who would have been one at your school, if you know what I mean. Thor Odinson, Prince of Asgard, son of Odin, god of thunder. He had biceps bigger than my whole torso. But Thor wasn't known for his brains. He was actually really impulsive, hot-headed, and arrogant. So, naturally, Odin kept telling him to chill out, bro. You can't just go around causing damage and starting wars. And Thor was all, but Dad, I'm a god. It's my job to fight. And Odin was like, I literally ban you from fighting the frost giants. Don't you remember when you were little? Well, unfortunately, Thor did not remember because Odin hit him with the classic dad move, erase bad memories. And since Thor had no recollection of his past trauma, he decided to go cause some new trauma. He took a bunch of Asgardian warriors and snuck out to attack the frost giants. But as soon as they got there, Thor got recognized. Turns out the frost giants were like, wait, isn't that the guy who tried to kill our king 1,000 years ago? And then Thor got captured, brought before the king, and punched in the face. But luckily, his Asgardian buddies showed up and rescued him, except they died and Thor survived. So, technically, it was a rescue mission. But Odin found out about the sneak attack and was furious. He was like, Thor, this is why you don't listen. Now, get out of here. Then Odin banished Thor to Midgard, aka Earth. With no memory of his past, no hammer, and no powers, Thor basically became a construction worker who smelled like pancakes. Of course, he didn't like being weak and powerless, so he set out to get revenge on whoever did this to him. Meanwhile, his brother Loki was having a great time pretending to be king of Asgard and messing with Thor. Like, hey, bro, you should check out this cool new plant where people worship you as a god. It's right down the hall. But Thor caught on pretty quickly and turned the tables on Loki, who ran away crying. I hate you, Thor. But don't worry, soon they'll be besties. Soon after, Thor teamed up with Dr. Selvig, Jane Foster, and Darcy Lewis to take down the Destroyer, a robot sent by Odin to retrieve Mjolnir. Yeah, it was weird. They all went to Jane's house to hide it, and while Thor was looking for the Destroyer, he totally forgot he was supposed to be without powers. But Jane helped him remember and told him how awesome he was without them. And it made Thor realize that maybe strength wasn't everything. But of course, it was still pretty awesome when Thor got his hammer back and defeated his adoptive brother Loki, who was revealed to be a frost giant all along. And then Thor learned that he wasn't adopted. And Loki wasn't a villain, just a misunderstood prince who wanted to save his people. And even though Thor was mad at him for lying, he was still willing to work things out. But then Loki stabbed Odin in the back and framed Thor for it. So Thor left Asgard to protect his people and swore to return as the rightful heir. Cue the epic music. Thor, The Dark World 2013, Shadows of the Ether. While visiting Jane on Earth, Thor gets a vision from his old buddy Heimdall that someone's stealing the Ether, also known as the Reality Stone. So Thor teams up with Jane and her friends to find it. Meanwhile, Malekith and his Dark Elves are getting ready to use the Ether to plunge the universe into darkness forever. And Thor totally gets distracted by a hot elf chick named Sif, even though he already has a hot Asgardian chick waiting for him back home. Meanwhile, Malekith steals the Ether and turns Jane into its new host. So Thor brings her back to Asgard so Odin can help her. But Loki shows up and reveals that he's been working with Malekith this whole time. Turns out Loki wants to be the new ruler of Asgard. He thinks Malekith will help him get there. Like, you could just ask nicely, buddy, but Loki's all, no, I prefer stabbing people in the back. Thor and Loki team up to stop Malekith from plunging the universe into darkness. They bring Jane back to London, where Malekith plans to open a portal to another dark realm called Svartalfheim. But before he can do that, Thor stabs him in the chest with a pointy stick. And then everyone cheers because Thor is the greatest hero ever. Wait, no, Loki dies. And Heimdall tells Thor that Loki gave his life to save everyone. So Thor feels guilty and goes back to Asgard to tell Odin that he'll keep watching over Midgard, which Odin totally approves of. But Loki is not dead. He was just sitting on Asgard's throne disguised as Odin. And everyone was like, huh? Am I crazy? Or does anyone else smell a plot twist? Thor, Ragnarok 2017, The God Reforged. After hearing about Loki faking his own death, Thor decides to go to Svartalfheim to get his hammer back from Hela. Oh, and he also finds out that Odin is dying, too. And that's kind of a bummer. But before Thor can get all emo about it, Hela shows up, kills everyone in seconds, and casually crushes Mjolnir with one hand. And then she's all, get out of here, Thor, because you're not welcome in Asgard anymore. So, Thor and Loki run away and crash land on a junkyard planet called Sakaar ruled by the Grandmaster. And guess who's there? The Hulk. And it's not just any Hulk. It's a Hulk who looks like he just walked out of a 90s action movie. After Thor gets enslaved and put in the gladiator pits, he and Hulk fight each other for entertainment. But then Thor realizes that Hulk is just misunderstood and probably needs a hug. So they team up and escape together. Also, they form a band called the Revengers with Loki and Valkyria, a fierce female warrior who totally has a thing for Thor. Together, they take on Hela and her army. But Thor has to learn that his strength doesn't come from Mjolnir, but from within. And then lightning starts surging through him like never before. And that's how we know he's serious. So Thor defeats Hela and destroys Asgard, which sucks, but it also saves everyone. Like a true hero, Thor picks up the survivors and flies them to New Asgard, which is basically just a refugee camp on Earth. But hey, at least they're alive. And Odin pops up to let everyone know that Thor is now the God King. And that's pretty neat. All in all, it's a happy ending, I guess, except for the part where Hela comes back from the dead and scares everyone. But there's like, no worries, guys, I got this, and throws his axe at her. But wait, I gotta pee. Thor, Love and Thunder 2022, God of Emotion. We open with an epic space opera as Thor joins the Guardians of the Galaxy on their quest to save a cute llama. But Thor is feeling empty inside, even though he's done some pretty messed up things in his day. Korg suggests he find his purpose, which leads Thor to stumble into a new adventure. Meanwhile, Gorr the God Butcher continues his mission to eliminate all deities. He's the kind of guy who would make Thanos look like a Boy Scout, but he's also pretty sad because he wants to be with his daughter, Love, who died of illness. Gorr teams up with Christian Bale's crazy laugh and vows revenge on the gods. Thor faces off against Gorr and loses, which makes him realize that he needs to improve his skills. Luckily, Jane Foster returns, who we thought was dead, but she's somehow alive and kicking. She's also the new mighty Thor, wielding Mjolnir and looking super fierce. But she's secretly battling cancer and doesn't have much time left. So she and Thor team up to defeat Gorr and save New Asgard, even though it's not really New Asgard anymore. It's just, Asgard. In the end, Gorr chooses love over vengeance and enlists Thor to raise his daughter, Love. And everyone lives happily ever after, except for Jane, who sacrifices herself to help Thor stop Gorr. But hey, at least she got to be a badass superhero for a bit. And Thor's not alone anymore. He's got a daughter now and a whole bunch of friends to protect him. Unlike in the comics, where he's always running around shirtless, Thor is now fully clothed and ready to take on any challenge. But wait, there's more! If you want to see what happens next, click here to watch the official trailer for Thor, Love and Thunder. And if you don't want to miss the latest news and updates, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single second of the action. Trust me, you won't regret it. Now go ahead, click that subscribe button and join the fun. See you later. And now, without further ado, let the God of Thunder continue his adventure.